Alyssa, what do you make of the racial accusation Keith Boykin was making there, that the use of the word rigor is not unintentional? President Trump has certainly been accused of racist language before.
Right. With Trump, you don't need to look for a dog whistle. It's a bullhorn when it comes to race. And I do think that's deliberate. We've seen slanderous attacks that he's put out against Fani Willis, alleged things I won't even repeat. So he's not really hiding that he's going to lean into that element. And this is taking place just outside of Atlanta. When you saw the courtroom, it was a lot of black men and women who were serving in that courtroom. The fact that he's introducing race into this prosecution surprises me. It's disgusting. It's textbook Donald Trump, but it comes as no surprise.
Yeah. Caitlin Collins and Alyssa Fair-Griffin.
Using a word that rhymes with the N-word. Donald Trump himself, their leader, using the term rigors, which clearly rhymes with the N-word.
All right, guys. So yesterday in a video, I told you guys that the newest Democrat meltdown over Trump defending himself, right, is them accusing Trump of being racist because he is attacking some of these Democrat prosecutors who happen to be black that are going after him. And in his rant against them, he used the term rigors, okay, when referencing trying to find the people that he believes made the process in Georgia unfair towards him, okay? He used the term rigors, okay? Rigors. In my opinion, I think it's obvious that this process in regards to indicting Trump is rigged. I think that all of these prosecutors are colluding with each other to make sure that they can go after Trump to drain his campaign funds, to make it harder for him to campaign. For example, the woke DA out of Atlanta, Fani Pack Willis, she's trying to set a trial date or the initial trial date for that case before Super Tuesday, right? Like the day before Super Tuesday. Okay, so, they're quite literally coordinating in order to make it much harder for Trump to campaign and to actually win, to affect him in the general election. Again, this is clear election interference. This is clearly Democrats attempting to sway the outcome of the 2024 election in their favor by using this group, this cabal of woke prosecutors who, hey, I could call a criminal gang, right? Maybe they should face RICO charges, okay? Maybe they're the mafia, maybe they're the mob. Yeah, a mob of woke prosecutors to go after Trump. Again, it's really stunning what we're seeing happening in this country. So with that being said, again, Trump is defending himself, and rightfully so, right? He's attacking these prosecutors because, again, this is a political witch hunt. And we all know in today's time, Trump can't defend himself, right? He can't defend himself, especially if he is attacking somebody that happens to be black. Because if you're white, you can't say anything bad, or you can't attack a black person. You can't fairly criticize them, right? Like you can criticize any other person without being accused of racism. And that leads me to Al Sharpton, who has a complete meltdown over Trump, calling these prosecutors going after him rigors, okay, and trying to say that, well, Trump is alluding to the N-word. And this meltdown is hilarious for multiple reasons, because once again, we have a full-blown display of hypocrisy here coming from the left in regards to this issue in Trump's rhetoric. Take a look.
They are Donald Trump and some extreme supporters are they're promoting this violence because their words are violent. And I could list 100 things that Trump and his supporters have said and have done where they promote, fascist-style violence against government officials. I mean, my God, just look, he's not a Trump supporter, but he's learning to play Trump's game. Ron DeSantis, when asked about federal employees, he said on the first day he's going to slit their throats. God. This is the rhetoric that has taken over in the Republican Party, and we see the consequences of it.
And the Republican Party leadership not coming out denouncing it, and none of the candidates or the top-tier candidates are really denouncing the violence, the rhetoric, as you point out, slit throat all the way to Donald Trump saying, I'm going to come after you. in the midst of people being arrested and one man shot dead because he had a weapon at FBI agents, and the racial language. I mean, this woman to call a federal office or call a judge's chambers talking about to a slave using a word that rhymes with the N-word. Donald Trump himself, their leader, using the term riggers, which clearly rhymes with the N-word. I mean, this is not 10 years ago or 30 years ago when we marched against him on the Central Park 5. I'm talking about within the last 24 hours, used the term riggers. Is this the kind of party the Republicans want to show the country that they are? There's no wonder independents are running away from them. To identify with blatant racism and blatant violence is not the party that we need. And I've never been a Republican, never leaned their way, but we need a two-party system. But we don't need one that prides itself in bigotry.
Yeah, and Trump has used, of course, that racist and inflammatory language for so long, and only leading into it further as he's dealing with whether it's this judge who is African-American or DA Alvin Bragg of Manhattan, a black man. This is something that he is putting central to his defense, and his supporters are following their lead.
Yeah, so I want you guys to understand what's going on here, right? Clearly, if you're white and you criticize anybody black, right, they're going to find a way to say, well, you're racist, okay? Don't criticize anybody black if you're white, okay? Or else, again, you are a flaming racist. In this case, Al Sharpton, who's an accused anti-Semite, by the way, right? He's an accused bigot, an alleged bigot. Al Sharpton, basically tries to say that Trump is saying the word riggers because he's trying to refer to the N-word and not what is obviously a reference to. He's clearly trying to reference what he believes to be a rigged process in regards to the prosecution going after him. And the people in Georgia who are responsible for the fact that things didn't go his way in 2020, okay? That is who he's referring to when he refers to riggers. It has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with skin color, anybody being black. It doesn't have anything to do with that at all, okay? Clearly and obviously, it has nothing to do with that. It's not the N-word. But again, these people, because they love pulling the race card so much, right, they can't help it. This man goes on an absolute meltdown, embarrasses himself, crying foul over this idea that Trump is low-key trying to call these black prosecutors N-word. I mean, again, these people, it's just so funny to me. It's just so hilarious how they keep talking about the things that Trump is saying is racist, but I can't find anything that he's saying that is actually racist, okay? I haven't heard anything from Trump's mouth that is racist, okay? This is what they do. This is what they do. The racism is in such little supply that they make it up, right? They make it up. They take any little thing that Trump says and they try to extrapolate it to an extreme and try to say, well, see, this is Trump trying to say the N-word, right? He's calling these prosecutors riggers, right? He must be calling them the N-word. Again, absolutely amazing. It really is. What's even more amazing is that this same outlet, MSNBC, is complaining about the so-called violent rhetoric coming from the Republican Party when this network, MSNBC, in my opinion, has fostered and encouraged domestic violence and extremism in this country. And they've also hosted Democrats and liberals who have promoted violent rhetoric on their airwaves. You guys all remember this compilation.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
punch some people in the face.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, so I never want to hear anything from MSNBC complaining about these so-called violent rhetoric coming from the right, okay? Because these people, MSNBC, their network, again, they harbor and foster, in my opinion, domestic terrorism in the sense that they come out here and they push these conspiracies about what's going on in this country, particularly when it comes to racism and abortion and things like that, that we've seen actually do have a real world effect in regards to violence, right? That's what happens, okay? The most political violence we've seen in this country has come from leftists over the past 3 years. It hasn't even been close, okay? All the violence that these people are so concerned about when it comes to Trump and people on the right, we really don't see too much of that, right? We might have this one incident, this, one-off every now and then, okay? But you do not see it at the same level, nearly at the same level that you see it from the left, okay? So again, if these people want to talk about violence and violent rhetoric, they really need to point at themselves first and to address it. But like I said, I haven't heard anything from Trump in regards to his attacks against Fannie Pack Willis that would suggest that he's doing it because she's black. He's attacking anybody going after him. And it's just funny how these people want to boo-hoo, whine, and cry racism and just make up very silly things to accuse the man of being racist because they don't have anything, right? This is what you do when you're desperate, right? You reach. Instead of talking about what, in my opinion, clearly is collusion in order to try to keep this man from winning in 2024. It's kind of crazy. It really is crazy how hard they're going after this guy. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.